You are now live.
Right.
You're sort of in front. You're in the corner there. So this is going to be our first Instagram live feed. We are probably going to extract this video and use it for Hi Vegan. Let's see. How do I get her to join here?
press the button.
Can you just give me 2 goddamn seconds, Frank? I'm not smart. Did I switch the camera
Yes,
somehow?
you did.
How did that even happen?
With your thumb.
As you can tell, we're very technologically advanced here. We know our shit.
Yeah,
sort
the
of.
2 smiley faces.
It's not
That's what
working!
you hit.
It's not working! Nope.
Wow.
It's just flipping my camera.
Old press view.
I guess double tap. I'm too old for this shit. We're in our 30s. Shut up, Frank. Wait, you're. What happened?
Who said that?
I know. I don't know. You did. I think you were mistaken, though.
I didn't say anything.
Did we finally get guys? Look, we're boomers. Okay, we can say we're boomers now.
Oh please! You're the one who keeps saying, "Don't age me, don't age me."
Well, we're acting like boomers. I have to put. Okay, we're moomers. We're moomers. We're moomers. We're not zoomers. We're not
Zoomer.
zoomers. I'm gonna stop there with all of that.
Yeah.
We're moomers.
You're confusing more than just your brain with that stuff.
Go home.
Go home, Karen.
Go home, Karen. Yes, exactly.
Okay, I gotta know though. I'm still confused on the whole Karen thing. Am I wrong that the whole Karen thing came from Goodfellas?
Yes, you are.
I am wrong with
Yes.
that. I was so convinced that that's where it came from.
Oh.
Who was the first Karen?
What happened was it was I think a Reddit thread. I'm pretty sure it was Reddit. But one of those that this guy kept posting about his ex-wife.
You're out of frame. Get in the frame.
This guy
so
kept
excited.
posting about his ex-wife, and her name was Karen. And so from there, it picked up like, gosh, she's such a Karen.
He was bitching about his ex-wife?
Yeah.
Jesus. Kind of a Dave, isn't he?
Yeah.
But so what's a male Karen? A Kevin?
Ooh, a Peter.
A Peter? Yeah, Peter Wacker? A Rick?
What?
Right? A Dick.
Wait, I can't see you guys. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Right there.
Hi,
I can't see
everybody.
you guys.
Got
Hi,
Melody
everyone.
Face joining us. How you guys doing? Well, today we wanted to talk a little bit about the whole masks debate. You got people that are real hard-lined on what they think about these masks. You got other people that are just don't give a shit, and other people that are somewhere in the middle, like where I land on goddamn near everything. Real quick, for those of you who don't follow us, we are available on Podbean, on YouTube, on BitChute. Just search Completely Inappropriate Podcast. You find us on iTunes, all that jazz.
Twitter.
And today we have joining us Miss. What are we calling you? I don't know. Are you using a pseudonym?
You just call it Vegan Patriot. We're Vegan
Oh,
Patriot. You
yeah.
guys know better. Come on now.
I know. I just wanted to see if we could just squeeze it out of you, get your identity out. We're trying to talk.
Yeah. No, dude. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll get into that in a second. But I have my concerns.
You got some doxing issue. Interesting.
Possibly
First,
not yet.
well, first off, I want to ask you about all these events you've making it to lately. For somebody who claims to be so sick all the time and lacking energy, you are out all the damn time at these.
Oh, you are asking a question that some people do ask, which I'm sure you actually don't need to know the answer to that question. I think you're asking for everybody that's watching, more than anything. But yeah, if you guys follow me and notice I kind of disappear for like a day after I do stuff, or like a couple of days, that's typically how it will end up manifesting. The other thing I've been trying to, this is my first summer in Arizona since I'd gone to my parents last summer. So I haven't been in a summer in Arizona since before I went off. I know we talked about this on the first pod, if I'm not mistaken, but I went off my birth control, and I think our first pod that I did with you guys was in the springtime?
Probably.
So it was, and the weather was like flawless at that point.
And now is it the allergies getting to you? What's going on?
No, so with my condition, it's directly related to climate, and some people it's not for the same reason. Um, but so basically, like the hotter it gets, there's specific medications that okay. So I have my background in animal science, and that's kind of the reason my doctors allow me to kind of unfortunately, a lot of doctors will just let most patients figure it out for themselves anyways, but luckily I actually can like talk to them and kind of figure out a plan where we both know what's going on, and not everybody can do that because they don't have a medical background. But mine, I have to take my vitals, and basically, hi Casey, long story short, in the summertime, my blood pressure will plummet because everybody's blood pressure drops in heat. It's why when you get up in the morning, if you take a shower, you get kind of dizzy. Or you, little Mr. Runner in the 90-degree humidity.
90 was like 100 degrees with the humidity.
Oh, no. Dude, I'll tell you, like, the first protest I went to here when the riot started was Phoenix, and oh man, oh my gosh, I was actually scared because not for too long because I had somebody with me, but like when I was going back to my car, I had to run in 105 degrees at 10 p.m. or something like that at night. It made me so nauseous. I had to stop and like dry heave. I'm so glad I didn't have anything in me. And it has nothing to do with being in or out of shape. It's just that the extreme temperatures can mess with me. So I had to take extra medications, which can raise my blood pressure too much in the wrong weather. So it's like, but yeah, there's a lot of components to it. I will say though, like since I had been off my birth control, I've been taking different supplements and the birth control, and then I had my wisdom teeth that were going directly through a nerve in my jaw. My parents helped me get those taken out this last summer. So I haven't been to Arizona in this weather since that stuff got addressed. So I'm gonna say what I'm noticing is like obviously, yeah, I go out and I do this stuff, but if you notice the days between where I'm kind of silent, or like, I don't know, sometimes I over babble, I'll respond because I hate like leaving people on red. Yes, girl, you do need to get tested still, like 100. But yeah, so pretty much what I'm noticing is, yes, I'm getting sick, but like the debilitating, like fetal position, wanting to die pain, it's definitely minimized a lot. So what's really going on with me, and that most people aren't going to notice, is I'm kind of out of it. So I can have like a really good conversation, which we all have that problem to an extent, but it's the brain fog that's like the worst for me so far this summer. And then, like I said, if I do too much, like DC sucked because of the humidity. I do worse in humidity. Thank you for asking that, by the way.
Calm down, Frank. It started, we lost connection there for a quick second. That's all.
No, you're fine. I still can't see your guys' face, so as long as it's
that's
like.
All. For those of you watching, are you having any issue seeing both of the frames here? See if we can get a response.
Yes,
maybe.
can you see both of us, everyone? Because I can't see them.
It's
just
doing?
loading at the top. Stupid.
Highlighting our faces. Look, see?
You need better Wi-Fi, girl.
Somebody does.
I don't have Wi-Fi, remember? I don't have Wi-Fi.
Bad life.
Yay, thank you, Casey. I'm using my neighbor's Wi-Fi for a lot of projects, to be honest. So I have a key to her house. So I do have Wi-Fi. I'm just not in her house right now.
All right. Well, we appreciate you talking a little bit about your health. For those of you who follow us and not Patriot, she does talk a lot about these hidden illnesses that people have. I have a little sister who suffers from narcolepsy and certain other things that go along with that. I think she was even tested as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's a little more shy, not as talkative as I am. I don't think I've been trying to get her to talk to you, but we'll see if we can convince her someday.
Yeah, that would be amazing. Yes, please.
But
you can. I don't bite.
What's got me more intrigued is you've been going to protests. I know you gave a great little 8% on your own page. I was wondering if you could recap that a little bit for us.
Yeah, so pretty much, okay. I'm not gonna lie, like, I think when I was in the gun group, like, we all kind of had a feeling this might have started to be the way that it was. I think anyone who was much more prepared or like, you know, focused on the news could have thought that too, but a lot of people weren't. And like my red pill was like about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So I've kind of been like following this, but I was like not really expecting things to go down the way they went down. I mean, I kind of was hoping they wouldn't, if that makes sense, which I'm sure everybody who was paying attention was hoping for. But like, I want to say it kind of, the reopen protests were when I got really active, and it started to get warm out, but I was still able to go get a decent amount of footage for the small amounts of time I was able to go out. And the other thing too is I can make myself last longer with extreme amounts of fluids and if I'm in the shade. So like,
But I just
if
think
you notice,
I just think about baseball if I need to last longer.
well, anybody with a brain, you would think they would get this, but like it directly, like physiologically, I get how it helps.
It was a bad sex joke reference. I'm sorry. Anyway, so listen.
Oh, you're fired. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not trad, so anyways, I wouldn't know that.
No, I know. So listen, I want you to explain exactly what you saw of up to the protest, because it was a sit-in barbecue. Is that
Yesterday's, yeah, it wasn't supposed to end up the way it was yesterday. So I just came back from DC the other last weekend, and then to answer your question, I've pretty much been covering everything that I could that's near me, including the Scottsdale Mall, which like pissed me off a lot.
I know
Obviously.
your baby, you keep saying like, come on, it's just a mall, it'll be all right.
No, it's sucks because like, no, I like it. The thing is, it's like a whole community thing over here. And like, I think people don't get, so there's a couple of elements I'm noticing about Arizona, like living here and being born here. And, you know, I know this state, or I thought I did. But what I'm noticing is there's a lot of dead fish politicians, and the community is making the decisions for the majority of what's going on, which I'm kind of for. But I don't know. The Scottsdale Mall, like, so we have a predominantly small business area over here, and that's like the part that like people don't really get. And we only have like 63 people per square mile, which is not that much. We're mostly concentrated in the metros. But the mall itself, like that is like actually like my downtown. And when I go to walk the dogs in the summertime, I go to the mall because it's dog friendly and it's air conditioned.
Oh, wow.
So I had only been home from my parents' house for 2 months before this stuff started, right? So like for me, I'm like thinking in my head, I'm looking at these places that like, you know, maybe a little over a year ago before I left for Ohio for 6 months, like I come home and they're not available, and it's like freaky. And I can't even imagine what like other areas that got hit way harder are feeling, to be honest, because like it was just like I covered enough stuff, but like I don't know, it just like it hit home when I watched everything falling down, because I didn't really realize until, well, and then they had specifically on chats, they were targeting white girls in Scottsdale, so like everybody got, you know, their protection and was on high alert.
Real quick, how do you mean they were targeting white girls in Scottsdale?
So there was a chat, and Casey's on here, maybe he can paraphrase for me. I don't remember the specific details, but I guess they were targeting specifically white women of the area, of the suburbs specifically, and then Scottsdale was brought up, and then pretty much the night after, I think, or the weekend after, it was the night after.
Hold on. So in what way were they attacked? Were there reports of any women actually being attacked? Was it verbal altercations, physical confrontation?
No, it was a chat, like a chat forum. I feel like it was, Casey, help me out here. I know you're on here. Because that's how we found out about the protest or the rioting at the Scottsdale Mall. Was I had no idea until the chats they were talking about it on the chats, and I don't follow them, so my friends are the ones who kind of sent me some of the information. Actually, Casey was one of them. But I had no idea they were going to ever target Scottsdale Mall. Like I would have not thought that at all. I was in Phoenix, actually.
Riot ever.
What's that?
That nobody expects a riot ever to happen.
I don't know. Like I said, in the cities, I feel like it's been boiling, and I mean, you know, with the gun group, we talked about it being possible for a while. I think that like what really is the thing is they intentionally made an example out of Scottsdale being the suburbs, because with the Watts riots and everything like that, they predominantly stayed right in their own cities, right? And they destroyed their own stuff. So the general like conversation on the chats was, you know, they think we're not going to leave our own areas. Let's go show them, essentially. And so like once Scottsdale got hit, all the other suburban areas, like people came out. Oh yeah, Casey tried to come in and find me, and he couldn't park because they were throwing bricks at his truck. Yeah. So I don't, and also none of those people were really from Scottsdale. So I don't think that they were. I think they were paid.
Real quick for. Because we're gonna put this up on the podcast. It's not gonna be visual for some people, so I do want to read. Well, I won't read out your name just in case you don't want to see it. But that one I don't have firsthand info on. But myself and my buddy were both attacked physically by an all-black mob in Scottsdale. They tried to pull us out of my truck and yelled to attack for being white. They threw bricks at my truck, and they were out-of-state agitators, instigators. Both, whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what's happening all around the country. People are, what's that?
I see you finally. You showed up on my thing. Hey. Continue.
Sorry for that. Thought we'd give you a break and you wouldn't have to ask our guest. But listen, let's cut to the meat of the matter. What I've been wanting to talk to you about is our different, and I'm not entirely sure we have as different opinions as it may seem on the surface. I think the lack of nuance in the conversation when it comes to masks is what's missing here. Because everybody like, well, are you for masks or are you against? It's like kind of,
right.
Well, are you pro-life or pro-choice? Like, well, for me, there's
shades of gray. Yeah, exactly.
Everything. There's no such thing as hardlining these things to me. I mean, I understand people having their own opinion and feeling like they need to hardline those. But I'm not willing to die on any of these hills, man. I'm not willing to die on any hill, really. As long as attacking my...
Yeah, I was going to say, better be prepared just a little. I don't know what's coming in the future, guys. I hope none of us die.
I've got a gun. I've got a gun and I wear condoms. I'd rather have them and need them, and have them and not need them than need them and not have them, you know? But
no, agree. I'm totally with you. Arizona and Texas, we understand this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but before we get into the gun, we'll roll into that one first. I want to talk about masks. So as it stands now, what is your thought on the whole mask debate? And let's go slow because I'm going to have to cut in probably every other sentence because, yeah, I want to know what's going on with, first off, what are the laws right now for masks in your area?
Okay, so I honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I don't really pay that much attention. So when I was in DC, they had just reclosed the state. And I don't know if you remember the first pod I was on with you guys. Basically, Arizona has been delayed. Like, so we closed late, and we didn't really, most of us, at least in the Phoenix area, didn't really have masks on the first like couple of weeks at all. But now that they're starting to like really pressure Ducey, like the whole country and like politicians and stuff, I noticed that there's more people that are wearing them too. But I'm generally just not wearing them unless the only times I've worn them have been to go into the police department to pay a seatbelt ticket. And what was the other one? If it was like, okay, so I have a rule, right? So I'm anti-mask for so many reasons, but there's a social distancing, right? And they're saying CDC and
I real quick, because before we get too far, I want to correlate these two things. You were going in to pay a ticket for not wearing your seatbelt.
Yes.
I feel it's a very similar argument. I don't think anybody should be forced to wear a mask. No, I don't. Unless it's your business and you want to force your customers to wear a mask. Then you take the hit if you're not getting customers because they don't wear a mask. That's fine. Same thing with Walmart, big box stores. If you have a mask, you can't shop there, period. It's their prerogative. They have the right to refuse customer service anyway.
Yes. I'm with you. If it's a private business.
But people are arguing this, and people are fighting this whole idea that the owner has the right to refuse service. but we've been adhering to this law, these seatbelt laws for forever. And what does that do? It protects the individual. It doesn't protect anybody else if you
I
get.
agree. I know
So
where you're going with this.
why should you be forced to wear a seatbelt at
Well,
all? But we do.
actually, it's funny you bring this up because I went into the courthouse specifically. I didn't even pay the ticket. I set up I wanted to whatever contest it or whatever, and that was going to be my argument. But I'm debating because like, here's the thing: I had my seatbelt on when he pulled me over, so there's partially that, but also like I have a cracked windshield, and he didn't ticket me for that, which he could have. Although there was no safety hazard for it, so there was that. I mean, I'm with you entirely on what you're going for, completely, actually. But I'm just like, it's not something that's going to go on my record or anything. Should I just pay it? But at the same time, like, part of me is like trying to prioritize which battles actually matter right now, and I don't know if that's one of them. But I'm with you on it, and I kind of was like, maybe I'll just be like, listen, like, it's nothing is going to happen to someone else if I don't have my seatbelt on, right? Like, the only thing that's going to happen is I get hurt.
It's wearing a helmet on a motorcycle. It's all laws that are supposed to protect the individual, but at what point does the individual have any say in how he wants to be protected?
Absolutely. I'm with you guys completely on that.
Okay.
But that's the thing. People don't want to be fair right now. They want to make it everything's like black and white to everybody.
Right. Now, where I'm curious if we're going to have any opportunity to butt heads here is when I think about so I want to say I remembered you trying to go into a store and being upset because they wouldn't let you in for not wearing a mask.
Oh, that was Palm Springs. That wasn't Arizona. That was California.
What was going on there? I felt like maybe I was missing a little more information.
So the Walmart incident, right?
Sorry, it's a friend of ours. My wife is watching in the other room. Apparently.
Hi.
Sorry, what were you saying?
The Walmart, right? I was at the Walmart and they wouldn't let me in, and I was like, I have to pee. Was it that one?
Yes.
Yes, that was Palm Springs, and that pissed me off a lot. And technically, what Walmart is supposedly private, according to someone I talked to. But here's the bottom line: my issue with any of that was they were not offering me a mask, and if I was in the middle of the desert, okay. And I verbatim said, this is unconstitutional. And I go, should I pee on the, like, we're literally in the middle of the desert. I'm not from here and I don't have to legally wear a mask. And I go, you can't even offer me a mask, and they couldn't. So I was like, so am I going to just like pee literally like in public? Which one do you want me to get arrested for? Well, the thing is though, okay, I've walked into my Walmarts here and they have openly stated that they will not, they say they know they can't do anything.
Right. Well, they can ask security to escort you out, right? But this is the,
I guess.
But this is what I'm asking you though. It's still a business that has the right to refuse service. But because
only if it's private, and like, so this is my beef with Walmart. Even though it's technically private, there's circumstances for basic life needs that I think are absolutely need to trump that. Including the fact that I was in the middle of the desert. I needed water. Nothing else was open. I mean,
I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not trying to, for the sake of the argument. Most people would say, the people that just have no sympathy for you would say, pee in a bottle. You know, you're in your car, pee in a bottle like the rest of the people. Open your door, pee on the side of the road like anybody would here. In South Texas,
I've done that before too. But with my condition, you know, I have to pee every 30 minutes. So I have to pee all the time. And it's awful. It's really painful. Like every 30 freaking minutes. I have to delay my road trips by like 2 hours sometimes, how often I have to pee. So I had literally just peed recently before like getting into that area even. It was more the water thing than the peeing thing, to be honest. It was the fact that I wasn't being offered a solution. And a lot of the businesses here, they're offering masks. So they're not like, hey, you're just not allowed in, like the place in Palm Springs was doing to me. They're like, here's a mask, you know, we're going to offer you one. And I respect that.
But but that's a luxury item. I mean, it shouldn't be. It's because they're making it mandatory for you to enter the store. But in the end, again, it's them losing your patronage. You know, if you chose to boycott Walmart, that's one less person that goes there for the rest of the year, right?
But in the area I was in, no, I'm with you normally, but
like,
I just,
we've got a mask ordinance that we're all supposed to be wearing masks whenever we go into a parking lot, anywhere where there's
Even to pump gas.
even to pump gas, you have to wear a mask because you're in the vicinity of other people. Anyway, it's a
do you
law.
have to? Do they enforce that in Texas?
It is now a $250 fine.
For every county that's had more than 20 cases of Rona a day.
Interesting. Interesting.
The other morning on my way to work, I saw 4 women who were up for their morning walk together pulled over by the cops because they weren't social distancing and weren't wearing a mask.
Texas. What?
Yes, I disagree with these things. I really do. I think if they want to risk themselves, that's fine.
I agree.
It's
Well, and if you socially distance, I feel like there's taking the blame off of you giving someone something too, right? Like, as long as you socially distance, that's how I see it. Personally.
Now, I get a lot of people mad at me because I choose to wear the mask. It's my choice to wear the mask, but because I've got a grandmother who's in her late 80s, she's got all not doing 100%. I've got a father-in-law with cancer. There are people in my life. You know what? I've developed COVID. Whether or not it was bad on me, if I wasn't being cautious with the way I was approaching people and my family. Not one other person in my entire life, in my family, in my friends, everybody ended up negative because I was taking natural precautions. It wasn't to protect me. It obviously didn't help me for shit.
Right.
I believe that those extra help me take care of the people around me. That's why I don't fault people. How can I? It would be hypocritical for faulting people who wear masks. But
oh yeah, you're supposed to shave your beard before putting on a mask, I guess. Like for real.
Yeah, no, it's a Norse mythology. You can't cut our beards anymore. I'm not allowed to cut it anymore. I convinced my son to let me keep my beard, so I'm not letting him tell me to cut it ever again. I missed it so much.
Virus harbor.
But what? What was it?
I called you a virus harbor.
Yeah, well, you know, I already caught it. I'm good. Everyone's like, no, you might be able to catch it again. Like, with my luck, I would be the first twice.
No, don't catch it again. Oh my gosh. You went through hell with that too, didn't you?
What's that?
You went through hell with that. I was watching your stories, like waiting in line to get retested or whatever. That just looks like so painful.
Yeah, the retest was, because I got real lucky that first, when I first started showing symptoms and they just happened to have a cancellation. I got my test done 20 minutes after I left work and had my result the next day. No trouble whatsoever. It was even here in my town. Of course, that was just a pop-up testing site, so it was done the next weekend, and they sent everybody in my factory that needed to go get tested. They sent them like 2 hours out of the way to go get tested. And some of them got turned back because they didn't get there early enough. So that happened to me on the Monday. I went to go get retested once I was cleared by the health department. I went to go get retested. I got there at like 10. They'd already given away all the tests. So they're like, come back tomorrow. I'm like, all right, I'll drive it.
Oh my gosh, dude. I would have died. I would have been pissed. But that's me because I don't have energy to waste my time like that. I would have been so angry.
No, but at that point, I was for 2 weeks. I was joyous to go sit on fucking 5 hours, which I ended up. So the next day, I went at 5:30 in the morning. And
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, got my ticket an hour later, and then had to go back 3 hours after that to go get tested. It was supposed to be a 25-minute turnaround on the test. I ended up waiting another 2 hours in the parking lot for my test results. I was like, at this point, you could have just called me.
Literally, for real. That's what I was just going to ask. Why didn't they call you?
Yeah, they were trying to be, weren't doing a good
They
job.
wanted you to know immediately.
Yeah, no, that was the whole point. I was trying to get back to work that day. I was so ready to.
Yeah. No, I get that. I'm sure. I mean, I don't even, like I said, with my situation, like I think a lot of people that are used to working, which I worked my brains out for like a decade of my young life. And so like, this is the first year I haven't like had a normal, like I'm doing the business with my neighbor. I'm working on that. But yeah, like you have to go through this. I had to go through like stages of like grief. I'm not actually kidding you. And feeling like, why can't I work? You know, or like, why can't I work the way I'm used to? Why, you know, you're just used to certain things. And then it's like, what, everything, like I can't just go do what I'm, you know, I don't know. So I'm only imagining you guys got stir crazy if you're used to going out to work, because I had to kind of get over that.
Yeah, I've always had jobs where I've worked 10 to 12-hour days and
Yeah.
without running or working, trying to stay busy. I'm just a little too neurotic to stay sitting down for this long without
Yep.
a. Hey, but real quick, I did want to do something. I wanted to give Frank an opportunity to say at least something today.
I have been saying stuff.
I know, but
He's been interjecting randomly,
Yeah.
like he always does.
I know, but I want to give him an opportunity to speak his piece. How do you feel about the whole mask situation, and now that it's mandated, punishable with a $250 fine?
That $250 fine is a tax. So I'd appreciate if Governor Abbott would say, we're going to tax you $250. But that's besides the point. No.
What makes it a tax? How is it a tax and not a fine?
Because
what's the difference?
There is no difference. That money is going to go to the fucking wherever the fuck it goes. Anyways, no, like, the government shouldn't, they can recommend, but they shouldn't force it. Okay?
Correct.
Yeah. So then,
yeah,
when it comes to masks, just use some common sense. You know fucking what's going on in your life. Like in your case, you have your grandparents.
There you got chef
right.
agreeing with you. Says fines are taxes. LOL.
Yeah, but what happened?
You are not alone, sir.
I know I'm not alone. But what happened? No, yeah, like
I'm here.
You're good.
no,
You're good.
use some fucking common sense. Like me, I never get sick, right? But that doesn't mean I'm not carrying it. So
Right.
Yeah, so
Right.
I comply with the whole mask situation.
Yeah. Now, when people don't want to let you into, like, let's go back to Walmart real quick, because this was something that I was concerned with. The people that are arguing that they shouldn't have to wear masks to go into a Walmart. Well, you realize that there are other people going. Not everybody has a sweet niece or a sweet nephew or grandkids, or there are people that are in positions where they are immunocompromised, but they
Sure.
still have stuff. These delivery times are sometimes a week later if you're trying to get groceries now.
I think that's pretty rare, though, to be honest. And at least in Arizona, there's so many people willing to go get groceries for people. Like, I've left multiple posts and they don't get any bite. So, I mean.
Right. Well, you're also talking about an elderly generation that might not be as adept at the ones that don't already have help. They're also not going to have help figuring out the computer to figure out where to go.
No. I think at least when COVID first started, I brought that up too, because that was my concern about seniors going out and getting, because you were seeing, right, everything was like empty, and then you'd see these really, really old people like standing there alone, like confused. Mm-hmm. Oh, I hated those pictures. No, I'm with you on it. I personally, like, especially in a big box store like Walmart, here's the thing, right? So Arizona definitely is having limits, but the stores are making their own limits. I don't think, unless something's changed that I haven't like caught up with. So like, for example, Marshall's versus TJ Maxx. TJ Maxx has accepted maybe 90 people and Marshall's was accepting over 150. And they're relatively similar sized stores. So I guess I'm going to just say I think that people are making up their own choices for limits. But if you have enough space to socially distance, which in the state of, I really, big box stores like Walmart, and anywhere you can be 6 to 8 feet away, which I always am. And that's what bothers me the most, is because, like, they're saying it's really hard to transfer, mouth to mouth. Here's the thing though, right? If you wear a mask, I just don't think they're that effective unless they're like the right kind of mask, which has been talked about and discussed. And look, you have a hole at the top, you have holes on the side. Like, what is going to help you more than social distancing? It's probably not going to be that helpful if you have holes on the side of your face that you can breathe out and in for, right? And then
the idea of the filter to catch the microparticles, if you're using the proper mask. Now, this whole shit about
the proper mask,
yes. Yeah, because you have a bandana. Like, I just wore a bandana just to get away with it, because that was
exactly fun. That's bullshit to me. That's compliance, and I won't do it for that reason. If there's an actual reason, I'll do it.
I had to do it because it was mandated for my company. It was either you all wear masks.
And job, you don't have a choice if you want to keep your job. I get that, and that I would probably have to comply for that as well. But I would definitely, I'm doing the best I can to make sure people know I'm not okay with it as a mandate, because it's not a law.
For instance,
So if there's,
we were all forced to wear masks in the factory, but it's a factory. It is a lineman job. So the boots go from here to the next guy to the next guy. Whether you're wearing gloves and
sure,
masks, it doesn't matter. We're all still handling the exact
yep,
same.
exactly, yeah,
Okay, I finished this rack of boots. Disinfect all the boots. Move it to the next guy with a fresh pair of gloves on. It's
touch.
yeah,
Yeah,
it doesn't make any sense to have these arbitrary rules. But
agree.
now, if that, I think they just fucking, I think they're setting us up. Let me go into my conspiracy mindset that I've been sharing
Do
with.
it, yeah.
I believe we're setting up for World War III, man. And I know that's
Many
real.
people believe that.
It's so gross to think so negative, but when when something like this is blown so out of proportion, and then we do a government shutdown, a whole countrywide shutdown of businesses, and all these people losing their job because even the companies that haven't been shut down, they still have to downsize. So
Yeah.
when there's no more money available for people, no more jobs available, the only option that ends up coming up, I think I messaged this to you, is the military services. Who's the only people with money right now? Well, it's going to be the government in the end. And how are they going to roll it out? Like, well, you got to give us a little something, a little something. So
No, I mean, I wouldn't put any of those. See, here's the number one thing. Like, you know me, I kind of don't really form full conspiracy theories myself. I kind of just am like, look, there's a bunch of dots that make no sense. And this is like the 5 different possibilities I see coming from these dots that I'm connecting, right? I definitely don't think that's out of the question, to be quite honest. But the number one thing I brought up to like my grandma, who is a Democrat, and like I think I've brought her up a couple of times because she's a moderate Democrat, so it's like some stuff I feel like she can kind of have reason on with some stuff with me. But when I was left, I was too far left for her, so that's kind of funny.
yeah,
But like I was trying to explain to her, like, Grandma, look, and my therapist, I don't talk about this a lot, but I had some really, really messed up stuff happen to me. That's why I'm kind of pro self-defense. So that, and then going through the social problems with my medical condition, which is part of it. But I see a therapist, and I have been talking to her, and we've been going over basic human psychology this whole time. So there's a timeline, right? And like I pointed this out to my grandma, and she's like, I can't really deny what you're pointing out. It is scary. And people even that are like, oh, we should just comply, they're like, yeah, no, it doesn't make sense that, like, first and foremost, we have a virus, okay, supposedly with a low rate, a low death rate, like nobody is keeping their numbers straight, including CDC and WHO. All you're getting is like me, for example, who's not autoimmune, but people with my condition are. But I've been out in all this. I'm making a joke, but like I'm probably I'm definitely like a walking antibody, I think, in my humble opinion at this point. Which is why I do take it. I do take it seriously, especially if people are high risk or I'm close to people, to at least socially distance. And I do take it seriously. I know people are kind of like, well, why don't you mask up too? And I'm like, well, here's the thing. When my heart rate skyrockets, which I'm sure you know, because you run, and we talked about this a little bit, it's actually hard. Like, so if you imagine, because part of my condition, my heart rate skyrockets. So especially under high stress levels, you could probably even hear it in my DC footage, but I get breathy, and it's hard for me to really, like, I talk very kind of slow, even though I'm a fast talker. You can tell there's a difference in how fast I talk.
right.
And that's because my heart rate's going up. And so that's a breathing issue. It genuinely is for me. But I've rarely brought that part up unless I was pissed because it was actually going on. I've mostly intentionally been like, I don't agree with this, just so you know. So I'm not going to wear it. But
Yeah, because your medical,
for,
everybody else is concerned. If you have a legit, and that's exactly my point. You can't make these things a law when there are people with debilitating asthma, debilitating diseases from this, that, and the other. I mean, some of these people just got over COVID. They're having issues, catching their breath afterwards for a while because the lungs have been weakened so much. You're going to ask these guys, they've already been through COVID. They've already been retested and testing negative. They're having trouble breathing, but no, you still need to wear the fucking mask.
Right, exactly. No, that's the creepy part to me too, right? Is that there's all this disregard for science on health. And so, like, like I said, my therapist and I, we were talking about the basic human psychology of locking people up. There's all these fear tactics in place. Not one person can really explain to me the toilet paper situation, which we had so many opportunities to.
Oh, well, that's shelving. The
Huh?
when we ran out of toilet paper, it's a large item. It's a large bulk item. It just takes up a lot of shelving space. So what happened was the first day they said you might need to stock up, it emptied the shelves really quick because it was just one large package coming out. You take 5 off, all of a sudden it looks, oh shit, maybe we should grab some now. So that fear instinctually kicks in and they're like, okay, well, let's grab more. Then all of a sudden,
Right.
the whole rack is that, so the next day everybody rushes out to get toilet paper. It was just the initial fear kicked off just people going
Well,
crazy.
I would agree with that for the first month completely, to be honest. But what happened, and we still have one item limits on toilet paper in Arizona. So that makes zero sense to me with the fact that we have so much ability to reproduce paper products. And I make the difference between paper products and medical supplies since we genuinely have depended on China for medical stuff. That I see being a problem, but there's no, in my opinion, there's no reason for paper products to have the shortage that they're still saying we kind of have, or, you know, we've had limits for months now, right, on how many items you can get. We can produce our own paper products. I think that is a fear technique personally.
Well, I
So
mean, this is a horn I toot all the time about the Obama administration allowing for political propaganda or propaganda to be, you know, it's no longer an illegal act to put propaganda out. So what's going to is what ends up happening? This is all going on when Bayer, Johnson and Johnson, all of these big medical companies are getting sued for having asbestos in the baby powder, for oversupplying the Floridians and other states with massive amounts of opiates.
and the opiate doctors too, I think, right?
So,
It was the
right. So these big name businesses that have made billions and billions of dollars off the back of our fucking deaths, now they're getting reprimanded. Well, how are they gonna make their money back? Well, let's make a fucking giant fucking virus and blow it out of proportion when it kills less people than the flu annually, and it has infected, you know, 99% of the people survive it. You know, it. All I see this doing is helping the government get more military members. As one of our listeners here was saying, we're at the lowest point of population going into the U.S. military. That's exactly ever since, you know, the Bush administration, 9/11, and that was the last time we had an influx going in because we were all patriotic and we had guys like this fucking willing to give their fucking lives for us.
right.
How all this patriotism is gone to the wayside because we're fighting ourselves here. We're fighting ourselves. So
That's why I think there's psychological warfare. Do you think that, like, do you think we're already in the middle of a silent war right now? That's kind of where I'm going with some of this. Like, do you think that we're kind of already silently in the middle of the
100%. Yeah, we've been at war with Turkey, Iran, Syria, all of these places, Russia. We all have people out there. Like, whether or not we're fighting that country is still helping others fight us. You know what I mean? Whether
Sure.
North Korea, you know, Japan's got fucking business dealings everywhere. And as friendly as these friendly nations are with us, they've got backdoor deals going on, just like fucking Trump is making backdoor deals with that.
Sure.
You know, just politics. It's just the way the game is played. You can't hate the player. You got to hate the game, right?
To fix the game, if we're woke enough to fix it, that's how I see it. Like, if people aren't awake now, I don't have hope for them at this point. But I'm noticing, like, I don't know, the man on the street stuff I did in DC wasn't like intentional, but like I literally talked to so many people. None of them wanted to go on camera, but everyone in Arizona I talked to on foot like this had a similar thought process, and it didn't matter what their skin color was. I mean, it's just obvious that, like, there's two types of people right now, and it doesn't matter. I don't think anything matters other than there's two types of people. The ones that really want to just trust the government, even though they claim they don't. One of my best friends in OC, he's a Republican, but he's. I think what it is some people just want to be responsible just in case, but they're not really focused on how the safety measures are affecting others, which, like I said, I don't think that if you have issues breathing, there should be any confusion. Like, I'm not going to pass out over your safety. Like, however you feel about life, like, unless you're literally so high risk that I'm directly next to you, and I'm still going to have to lift my mask up because I'm not passing out.
Right.
Like,
now, this brings up two things for me. One, for instance, my grandmother, she's Spanish. She was born in Spain, raised in Spain. She was forced to go to a convent to go to school. That's just how they do things there, I think, still today.
okay.
I
don't know about Spain. That's cool though. That's actually kind of cool.
She's my point is, one of the most devout Catholics. You want to talk to her about the Bible, she'll outdo you. She's outdone priests in conversations with her knowledge.
So there's 3 people. There's 3. So is she an end timer?
An end timer?
Yeah, is she on the religious spectrum of like thinking this is end times type stuff?
No.
Okay.
I mean, no, because she actually read the Bible. We won't know when it happens. If you're thinking it's probably wrong, because that's not what the Bible doesn't say. I mean, I'm an atheist. I'm not. That's a different episode we'll have to do. But my point is, for the first time in her life, she's not going to church. And the reason being is there is a mandate where she has to carry a card. So she has to carry a card letting people know where she's going to church. And that's why she's going out on Sunday. And she has to go wear a mask. This is a devout Catholic woman who is very anti the Moor. I mean, the Moors were a very big, the Jewish population of Spain, the Catholics, not big fans of each other.
Okay.
So here's like she has to do, or not Jewish, Muslim, sorry. Anyway, they do the head cover. Grandma's always, you don't cover your head in church. Again, this is a very religious thing. You don't cover your head in church because you're supposed to show your heart and your mind to God. You know, you're not covering up, hiding from God in a Catholic Christian religion.
Sure.
That's not Presbyterians. I know you got all these other religions that wear hats in church. Yeah, that's cute. Whatever. My grandma's more traditional, all I'm saying.
Okay.
So she's not allowed, she's not comfortable. She's like, no, I'm not going to change everything. I feel that, you know, it's part of the religion to be free, to be free.
Right, for sure.
You know, the last people that had to show what religion they were using a card with a yellow fucking star on their shirt. You know, that's the last time anybody had to show what religion they were just so that they could go to church. You know,
that's so creepy. Actually, I'm not an atheist. I'm agnostic, but I mean, I'm with you on that. Where it's like, if people like us can see that there's something disturbing about that, like, where's the outrage for these people? Like, that's scary.
So the priest asked her, so why haven't I seen you in church? You know, I'm concerned about you because you're not receiving your communion. You know, the host and the blood and body of the transmogrified Christ. Yeah. So she's like, no, I do it. I watch the service here at home. I say my prayers. I have a little piece of bread and I have a glass of wine. When you do it in church and I watch you on Skype or on YouTube now, I dip my bread in the wine. I take my communion. Because that's how Jesus did it with his disciples, just at a table in his house. Just with true faith. And if it's just about faith, it doesn't matter where you are for it. So that's real religion. That's real faith.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, where's this faith going? What's the point of all this? Anyway, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I forgot what the other point was that I was going to tie that into.
Oh, that.
What were we talking about?
That you're probably going with fucking your own discretion kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's I mean, if you don't allow the rules, it's church. It's the holiest thing to people. And my grandma's a devout person. But
they're attacking churches big time, even here right now. Like, it's kind of freaking me out. Like, why? What's the rationale behind it, other than there's other places that pose the same risk as, you know, for transmission, if that's really what this is about. Why churches? Why are they not allowed? You know, why specifically
Yeah.
churches? Where what they keep getting attacked repeatedly. Didn't Cuomo just
It's
say
group
something?
too many people in one room because it matters if it's 5 or 10. Apparently, I don't get it.
No.
But look, I think I'm rambling too much. Do you want to get into this conversation?
Well,
I'm starting to. I think the hangover's starting to kick back in. I'm starting to lose focus myself.
well,
Oh, I know you wanted to debate the guns, right?
Yeah,
The
let's.
two.
Yeah,
That was what you reached out to me specifically for. I think we're on page for like at least 70%, if not more, of a lot of stuff, to be honest. But yeah, the two incidents, right? The couple, and they got arrested and they got their guns taken away, and I'm livid about it. But you had some good points.
are we talking about the Mr. and Mrs. Smith that were just standing at their door with their ARs or whatever? And
That, and then I think you included the lady in the parking lot that had
yeah,
to back up and get out too.
yeah.
I think you included her.
My problem with her was she was pointing that thing directly at their chest as if she was ready to fire. Like,
I
there's
mean, she was scared after she. Look, I'm sorry.
what,
I don't care.
maybe I don't know how it started. What was the altercation about for those people who haven't seen it?
So there's supposedly, according to the recorder, which there's no footage of. So in my eyes, you know, it doesn't happen unless there's footage of it. If you're going to put footage out there, that's the story. Unless there's someone else who can prove something else. So according to the recorder, this lady had bumped into her in the grocery store. And I'm telling you, like, I've had this happen to me very rarely. I've had it happen like one time, though. I was in Target, like, I don't know, 4 years ago, around the time Trump got elected, actually. Oh my God, it was around the time Trump got elected. Wow, that makes so much more sense now that I'm thinking about it. I had this, I didn't really think about it because I was just like, I was in the pet food aisle and I was like, kind of just like, I wasn't in the other aisle or anything. Like I was in literally nobody's way. And this black woman comes over and she shoulder bumps me. And she's like, little white bitch. She literally fucking
Really?
went there.
Jeez.
I'm not kidding you guys. I you know I'm fair. You know I'm honest. Like that actually fucking happened to me.
Yeah, I'm not that denying that at all. That's
No, I know you believe me, but it's crazy because like I will say like I think for the most part Phoenix is I still, you know, I've said this 1,000 times. Like, I think the people here are more mild for like 1,000 different reasons. I like my neighbors are black. Like, you know, like we don't have a race problem in Arizona, in my opinion, and especially with all the small business. We probably have something. Okay, I'm not going to say we don't have anything, but like the opportunity for equality out here, it's like literally it's a thing. And plus, like we're only 100 years old ish, so we're one of the newest states, and if that historically can kind of ring any bells, you know, the East and the South have a lot more anger than Western newer states, right? Because slavery wasn't a thing. I don't know. I've never come across anybody like that other than that one time, and that was like, oh my God. I wanted to be a bitch, but I was just like, wow, fuck you. That was the best I had.
So this happened in this other store. And so they followed her out to the parking lot? Is that what happened?
That's I'm gonna infer. It started the footage started in the parking lot, and she was pregnant as well. And what they said was, let me try and paraphrase.
Looks like
Mom and the daughter. It was a mom and a daughter that were recording, and they were both obviously they were black, and the couple was white, and she starts the footage by saying, this white girl, what'd she say? Basically, she was saying, she bumped into me and she's racist. And she just kept shouting racist. And like, they were just they were just being petty assholes. And the woman continued to say, like, you can even hear the woman say, I'm sorry if this has happened to you. We are not racist. You know, she was de-escalating to the best of her ability over and over again. And she was pregnant, bro. Like, I'm telling you.
But at what point did the altercation become like? Because I understand someone's following you out, but if you still have the ability to get in your car and drive away, at what point?
They tried. So they tried. This is why she ended up pulling out the gun. And the footage, the girl recording, it kind of falls, so you don't see exactly when the white girl gets out of the car. But the mom, this idiot, just goes behind the van as it's leaving, and like it was obvious they didn't want the couple to get in their car. They didn't want them to leave, and so the mom just gets behind the car as they're leaving, That's not a threat. I'm sorry. I've had my experiences. So when someone gets behind me and I'm trying to get away from them so I don't have to keep fighting with them, yeah, that's a direct threat to me. So she got hit, which is BS because
She was
the
just
woman
trying.
was, yeah,
Yeah.
she never had to go stand behind this van. So at that point, the woman in the car.
Let me interject here a question. Why not? If you're being impeded, you're obviously being stalked a bit and being harassed. Why did she not at that point just call the cops and sit and wait?
They multiple times talked about it. And I will tell you, like, I could tell, I know anxiety when I see it, and I could tell that that woman was holding her stomach for her child, and she was trying to keep calm and trying to stay, I've been in her situation without being pregnant, but like, I've been in her situation where I'm literally like, and it wasn't with a race, it was a white, old, creepy alcoholic, from Phoenix, and had nothing to do with race in my situation, but it still emulates, like, I saw in her face, and I'm watching her and she's having a panic attack, and she held so calm despite that. But these girls, like, my number one thing is she repeatedly said to be left, like, if you ask to be left alone, there's no doubt in my mind, it's not a question. If somebody in public asks you to leave them alone, either you leave them alone or deal with what happens when someone who's asking you to leave you alone says and you scare them. This woman was being antagonized to the point where she was literally holding her stomach and obviously remained calm and did not pull out the gun the entire time until the mom got behind the car. Like,
but again,
I would have just wanted to get out of there.
I'm sorry, I still disagree with her pulling the gun. If she, if and only if she called the cops and they said, "Hey, we're going to be another half hour, or we're not servicing right now," what was the issue with calling the cops? If
they did call the cops, they had both parties had been calling the cops according to what they were saying online, and I believe the husband was, as the wife was pulling the gun out, I believe the husband was already in the process of calling the police. But here's the thing, like I said.
Sorry, I mean, let me interrupt. Let me speak my piece on this, because in my experience as a Hispanic man, I know if I was in an altercation with somebody and we were just arguing, somebody was fucking with me, if I threw the first punch, even if he was harassing me and instigated it, I'd still be locked up that day. If I pulled a gun on him just because he was arguing with me, yelling at me, getting in my way, not allowing me to leave, I pull out a gun without any physical altercation actually happening before that. That's brandishment of a weapon. I go to jail, not the guy for fucking just yelling at me. It's freedom of speech to yell and bitch.
She also got behind the van and was calling racism, and this woman hit me. I mean,
at which point you don't pull a gun on somebody for standing in front of your car. You call the cops and tell them, "Hey, I'm being harassed."
They were, though. Now, there's a thing that maybe you don't understand as a guy, but if you're feeling that threatened and you want to get away, I feel like you have every right to get away. Look, and I'm solid on that. It doesn't have anything to do with race.
Let me meet you there. No. Let me meet you there, because I do have a caveat. If at any point those same people start hitting the car, touching the car,
they were in the window with the lady at one point. Like, they were literally at the window.
The problem is you're offering the ultimate retaliation. You're taking an atom bomb after somebody pulls a knife out on you. You know what I mean?
I get that, and I agree with that. I do.
Make her look worse. Well, it's about to end. So.
I get your logic on it.
We're on the last minute and a half before we get cut. Let's say a quick piece, and we'll wrap this up with another 10 minutes of conversation or so. All right?
All right, cool.
All right, so this has been the Completely Inappropriate podcast. Just in case we aren't able to add to this later, we've had the Vegan Patriot on here. It's been a hell of a good conversation. I hope I showed enough respect and wasn't talking too much.
That's fair. I hate you.
Finish this up. All right, so let's end this and start again.
Okay.
Awesome.
Careful now, you don't want to lose the
phone. Wait, I want to see
that match.
I want to. Oh, look, our faces are matched up. Hold on. Ooh, hold on. I gotta say this is hilarious. No, you moved. We're being dumb. Sorry. All right, Mike.
Hey, I see your face again for 5 seconds. I'm screenshotting this and sending this to you.
This the whole time, apparently. That's hilarious. No wonder she couldn't see when I was trying to put my hand up in the Like get her attention. Like, oh yeah, I can't see. Okay, let's do this again. Fly me to the moon. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back?
Okay.
Oh, look, she's back.
No, I'm not.
No. Don't hate on my Shady.
I can't hate on your Shady. Wait. How old are you guys again? You always mess with me. I never know your actual age.
Me or Frank?
Both of you. Because I was like 9 or no, I was 11 when that album came out. No, not Slim Shady. Curtain. Wait, what was the one after it? Anyways, don't get me
Eminem
going
EP. The Eminem EP came out when you were about 11, 12. I was probably about.
No,
13.
I was younger when the EP came out. I was much younger. I was single digits.
Jesus,
But,
I was be listening to that shit.
Mhm.
Man, when Stan came out, oh, blew my mind. Anyway,
yeah, that was earlier. Yeah.
I just wanted to give. We probably won't continue any conversation. Just wanted to end proper with you and not get cut off. I didn't even know we would get timed on Insta.
That's new. They started doing that recently. I really don't know when, but I'm just starting to do lives more, but that's kind of a new thing they started doing, I guess, where it's an hour long and they cut you the freaking heck off. It's stupid.
Yeah, that's all right. No one really wants to listen to us that long anyway, except for Chef, apparently. Chef saying something. You know what? I screenshotted it, Chef, because I didn't want.
Sending you these. Yay, you're back.
All right, so Chef was saying, I'm a grown-ass man. I'm not a scared pregnant woman who's also hormones are, who knows. Again, I'm not saying that she wasn't justified in pulling the gun out. My biggest qualm was the fact that she was pointing it directly at if you want to warn people, you pull your gun out and you hold it in a prone position, but you don't point it at anything unless you're ready to kill that thing in that second. You don't know your hormones.
I respect that.
What if you get a little too tense and that trigger?
Sure. I
you
respect that completely.
That's the point I'm trying to drive home the entire conversation.
Sure. Well, and there's a differentiation between guns and self-defense too in that conversation, and I think I don't carry outside of my apartment, so that stays here, and I have other weapons including pepper spray. So if it came to that, I would probably use my pepper spray.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you're going to carry a pistol, maybe you want to carry a less lethal form of protection as well. There's nothing wrong with that. Having
a couple of forms of protection. So, you have worst case scenario, and then, yeah, I think that's a completely valid point, and I agree with that completely, actually.
Unfortunately, we didn't get that on the hour, that first half. So I'm definitely going to try and splice that in because I don't get lost there. I've never been anti-gun. I've been anti-gun situations, but even then, it's more just you just gotta, man.
You gotta know.
You gotta know how to use it. You gotta know how to use it.
I agree. I completely agree. And I think she knew how to use it, but what it was I think what would have been an ideal situation that I would personally have preferred was maybe she had a CCW, which she did. Maybe she had a CCW, which she obviously had, but if she had other forms of less, intense defense initially, and then if things escalated and the cops never showed up, worst case scenario, she did have that. But, to at least have some pepper spray, or I carry a knife to the protests, and stuff like that, because it's something. But
yeah, I understand. I mean, there's plenty of people who prefer not to carry a weapon. That's their prerogative. People that carry a weapon because I've never felt the need to carry a weapon in my life, except for when I run. Because one day I got attacked by a pit bull, got bit on the chest, had to go get tetanus shot. So ever since then, I bought a can of pepper spray to run with. And if I've got the room in my pocket, I'll take a knife with me just in case I can't get the pepper spray.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I have my purse, so my knife's just like hanging in my purse or whatever. So
Yeah.
I forgot it yesterday, though. I'm so pissed about that. I forgot it yesterday. I like was so unprepared yesterday.
Yeah. I you know, before we had this conversation, I didn't know enough about this situation with the woman in the parking lot, with the pulling her gun
You
out.
have to watch the full video. If you watch it, and like I said, I'm coming from a perspective of like I watched her face, and like I've been there a few times where I've directly, literally, like, you know, if you tell people to back off and you're doing your best to like verbally de-escalate a conversation, there's going to be some repercussion if the cops don't get there on time. Which is what happened with me. The guy got so close to my face, I smelled his breath. I realized he wasn't drunk because of how his breath smelled. And I like instinctively punched him one time. And there's so much more to that story. But I'm the one that called the police. That's my beef with cops, by the way. So I do have an issue with the system as well. But like the fear in her face, like I recognized it, I guess. So maybe I just have a little perspective on that. But you tell people to leave you alone and they don't. I mean, it's really simple to me at that point. As a girl who's lived alone in the city for the last like 7 or 8 years, I definitely like, and she had her husband with her. So, but you know, the baby, like,
Yeah, that's what I don't understand. Why is the pregnant woman, the one getting out with the pistol to defend the victim?
Yeah.
Because there was black women. Like, who? You get out and defend your woman.
I mean, maybe I know, right? Like, I really don't even know.
All he had to do
No.
was throw his body between the women that were blocking the car. Just like, okay,
Huge too.
get out of
the.
the.
Huge too, right?
Put your hands open like this, kind of press them back just with your force field, and make room for the fucking car. Get out of there. You're not gonna be on Instagram. You're not gonna be blowing up the whole. You're all. It would have been much less. It's just this elevation of people's fears that is just getting them to react in the most extreme way.
No, it's intentional, and that's, I think, part of the psychological warfare going on right now, right? Is that people, unless they're like intentionally level-headed and logical, they are some people are just looking for fights in a couple of different corners, and that, in my opinion, was very much that mom and daughter wanted to pick a fight. That was beyond obvious at that point, but the guy could have done more for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure again it all just is based on fear. These people are all seeing the same that we are. There's a lot of hate being thrown their way. I'm sure she really did fear, like, at some point it's going to become a physical altercation. Let them know that I got the upper hand in this situation. So again,
Correct.
I'm all for caring and defending yourself, and I don't have a problem brandishing your weapon. Just don't point at anybody when you're not ready to fire.
No, I respect the crap out of that, and I'm actually glad you, because I think if we have time, do you want to break down the couple at the mansion? Was it St. Louis too?
Yeah, let's throw this one longer. Why not?
Because these are both, like, you brought up a good point, and I'm actually, like, you know, I like debating, so I'm glad you brought them up, because there's just things that people should be thinking about, and I don't think everybody should just go out and grab a gun and act like they know what they're doing. You have to know what you're doing. I'm still new to it, okay?
If you're prone to acts, maybe you shouldn't actively carry it when you're in a parking lot. You know what I mean?
There's a couple of other things. I just don't think she deserved to have her gun taken away. I think that was kind of gross, but I do think that I don't know. I hope.
I disagree with that too. I think she should have been charged with maybe a self-defense or like a gun safety course, so that she's not a point a gun at somebody if you're not intending to shoot to kill in that moment. You know,
But do you think, I'm gonna have to go look and follow up on that and see like what they're saying they actually charged her for and why specifically, because I haven't even gotten that far yet. But I'm curious to see how this ends up, to be honest.
Yeah, but sorry to bring it back to that. So this couple, so the whole thing was that the protesters were walking through to get to, I believe, another lawyer that lived down the road to protest their place. But,
yeah, I don't know the story of the couple at all, but I do. You're right. I think they were lawyers. But I really don't. I wasn't paying as much attention to that look. Okay.
And it was
I don't live on private property.
Yeah, well, it was not brick and mortar, but it was a fucking solid wall
A
around
gated.
the flimsy fucking gate. All right, done with it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nobody should have been trespassing in some private property and expected good results at that point in time. Absolutely not.
I mean, I think they looked ridiculous pulling out fucking machine guns, but I maybe come out with some skill. But I mean, I don't fault them at all. I think it was a funny image, but I have no problem with them
It's
pulling.
memeing everywhere. I'm like so into it, to be honest. I'm like, couple goals. Except the Karen didn't know how to like hold her pistol. That was kind of obvious too. Yeah, gun safety, we need to talk about that for sure. She didn't know what she was doing. I mean, she knew how to pull the trigger, but like, did you see her form? Like, she had her hand on the trigger the entire fucking time.
that was nasty. I'm like, no, lady, what are you doing? And then this thing, I'm like, what are you doing? That shows laziness. Like, stop it. Go to sleep.
Oof.
Yeah, point. You see, Chef is the same person who's been feeding us some great info this whole time. Thank you so much. Hopefully, we could talk to you sometime. He's mentioned the St. Louis Ken boy. I love that they're calling him Ken Barbie, right? Barbie and Ken
Yeah.
or something. That's
Oh
fucking
yeah.
hilarious. So the Ken boy
Yeah.
holding his weapon right. He wasn't holding it up, pointing it at the.
Correct. Yeah.
He had it in a prone ready in case something popped off, but he wasn't ready to fucking fire at
What I
anybody.
didn't like was that he kept his right hand to point and all that shit. Supposed to keep that hand on the pistol grip and use the left.
Well, he probably just played a lot of Call of Duty. We don't know.
No,
The
he just
soldier.
he just bought it because
And then he followed
and
up.
never trained with it.
My favorite new cosplay, the Barbie and Ken. Oh my god, this guy! I need you on the podcast. You just got jokes.
Oh
All
my
right,
God, take Casey on the pod. Yes.
the protesters were heading to the mayor's house. Okay, I thought it was another lawyer. Yeah, they were heading to somebody else's house altogether. So they were just out there just in case looters and they start busting up, private property. It's very likely to happen in the community when a bunch of people come in uninvited. You're gonna tend to think.
Exactly.
So we're in
Yeah.
agreement on the Barbie situation. I love those people. I think they're fucking hilarious.
I mean, yeah, like I said, I agree though. Like, she wasn't holding the pistol, right? We have to talk about all of those things too. Like, we can't just be like, oh, everybody get a gun and everybody's gonna be good. Like, it's literally not how this is gonna go. So
Yeah. I took a hunter safety course and a gun safety course when I was 13 years old. These are things that you should know instinctively. Just as a kid, I grew up in Texas, so I'd have a little squirt gun, even water guns. Unless we were having a water gun fight, I couldn't go around the house pretending to shoot people. They're like, you don't point guns at people. Like, it's a water gun. Like, you don't point guns at people. Period.
that's the first thing I've been taught. And I mean, there's two things I've remembered, if anything. And I mean, I'm still making mistakes, but I'm like actively coherent when I'm doing them. Is definitely making sure that your gun is in a position that's not, barrel facing anybody, period. Ever. You always want it to be turned away unless you're ready to use it. And then, your finger form, like, where is it on your gun most of the time instinctually? I've trained myself where my forefinger is never on the trigger. It is always up at the top area, which I believe is where it's supposed to be from what I'm told. Yeah, and it's instinctual now. Whenever I pick it up, my finger is nowhere near the trigger.
Right.
So
I learned childhood. That's the way it should be, though. If we're gonna allow these things to be a part of our lives, we need to teach each other how to use these things as a part of our lives, not as just an emergency tool in case of emergency, break glass. Like, no, motherfucker, go to a range, try it, and pop off a few shots so you know what you're doing, and realize the danger that you hold in your hand. Even
exactly.
as something, I've shot 22 long rifles at the wrong fucking target and had a ricochet fly right past my goddamn head. These things happen when you're not being careful, when you're a stupid teen going out to the waterfalls to go fucking shoot,
Oh yeah, no, Casey, you're right about that too. Did you see what he just posted? I totally am with you, by the way. He said there's also a lot of media and gaming glorification of firearms today. I agree with that as well.
Right.
Completely.
We're at the point now where the video games don't even matter. Just turn on CNN or Fox News and you see a bunch of people walking with those same video game fucking weaponry.
Well, yeah, or if you watch any citizen journalists that are like Jorge Ventura or even Kalen Scriber, any of the citizen journalists who are going out there right now, like into those high risk areas. I mean, it's pretty insane to see some of the footage that like I mean, there's levels I'm not obviously going to be putting myself into. So I'm really glad that I have people here that were out yesterday at the cookout, because like I said, I brought nothing. And like, yeah, it is pretty crazy to see like just how violent the world really can get and wants to get in some areas. And you definitely want to be prepared for sure.
Yeah. See, now when it comes to this open carry, I asked Frank about this before. How do you feel all these people just walking around with guns and being able to? Love it, right? We should all be allowed to. We should do it if we want. The problem with that is that when you get a group of people together, if as an individual walking around for protection, even with an AR on your back, fine, it's protection, whatever. That makes you feel like a big dick boy. Go ahead and do it.
Right.
When you get a group of people with all carrying, that is no longer a civil liberty discussion. That is a militia. That is a small group of people that can literally take over or a police station. We all know that happened in Mexico. What happened when they got the cartel's son arrested? You had the cartel, a small group of people with much better weaponry, go take over the police station. And the police, oh, our bad. Here, you can have him back. No, my bad. He's okay. Forgiven. Like, that's what happened. You can't allow groups of people with guns. I can't agree with that.
I'm so with you on it on some ways, and also
I
like
I'm
see the
kind of
benefit.
I'm struggling with myself to fully understand what I said there, because there I don't know. It's just such a fucking finicky little.
Well, I'll tell you, in the recent experience I've had with Arizona specifically, again, like you guys are a much larger state, so you might have similar like laws and everything, like which you definitely do in some parts of Texas, but Arizona is much more community focused. So, like our armed people, our locals worked like in tandem with the cops right after Scottsdale got demolished. So that's what I was going to say earlier. Like there were groups of armed, non-concealed carries. Same with at the protest yesterday. Well, the cookout yesterday. I felt so much safer with a whole bunch of dudes with guns next to me, to be quite honest. I didn't know what was going to happen. That was not supposed to happen. We had no idea that it was going to happen yesterday. And there were children there. And with how violent BLM, not BLM specifically, but mostly Antifa, especially Antifa, they get so violent. And there were kids there, dude. Like I would have absolutely, without a doubt, rather had the group of people there be, open and armed. And nobody got cited, as far as I'm aware, for anything. The cops did not, cite anybody for being out, period. And there was nothing, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I know it did seem to get a little bit heated out there. For the most part, everybody was okay in the end. It was just a bunch of arguing.
Yeah, it seems like with Arizona that's possible. I don't know if it is with Texas, though, because you guys are so big.
In smaller factions. It might not be statewide, but it happens in Houston as a collective, or San Antonio. You get groups there, but yeah, we're just too big. We're our own thing. Don't worry about Texas.
You are, yeah. Well, you guys you're kind of in the category of us in Florida, though, where we've been demonized repeatedly in the media lately, which is a whole different story that we can get into another day. But I relate to you guys.
Yeah, these desert climates, we're more tropical here.
Yeah, the Sun Belt. Yeah, we're the reason COVID came back.
Yeah, herd immunity, it'll help. All right, this is gonna be the last. I think we're gonna wrap it up here because we've been going on for quite a while.
Yeah, sorry everybody. Well, I know you guys. Do you guys still do the 2-hour ones, or do you just go with it until it's finished? I know it used to be 2 hours.
Nowadays, we kind of just keep rolling until we run out of steam.
That's a good idea. And you guys probably need a nap, huh?
I definitely am kicking Frank out and lay down for the next 4 or 5 hours.
I'm with you on that for sure.
Yesterday in Phoenix, some people were open carrying pistols, and only the security team candidate was carrying rifles until the larger historically violent group showed up. Then everyone else fully armed themselves in a reactionary way. See, that's the problem with these groups. So, they're protesters, and we're just carrying guns for our safety in case cops, Black Lives Matter gets out of hand. Like, yeah, but you're also fear mongering and instilling this very, very strong visual image to. You're conveying this image of a bunch of people dressed in black. But oftentimes they're not carrying signs because their hands are filled with their weapons. So you don't even know what group is walking down the street. Are they the ones that are pro all lives matter or pro Black Lives
It
Matter?
was both. I don't think it matters. And I'll tell you, like the night after the Scottsdale Mall got looted, that's what I'm saying. That the police worked in tandem with the local armed locals. So like they literally, like I was there, I was downtown, and we watched some kids. Okay, in Scottsdale. I don't know how much you know about Scottsdale, but it's kind of bougie over here.
Whatever you say. The person
Well, we don't really have a lot of beat up cars in Scottsdale. Like,
women in Scottsdale. Yeah, I'm familiar.
apparently you have a over there. I've never heard of. All right.
Yeah, no, there was a thing going on the chats, but no, Scottsdale is known for being bougie, and the funny thing is that's kind of why I like Arizona, because it's kind of still a dirty secret that people know about, but it's not like it hasn't been blown up in the media yet, like LA or anything. But yeah, it's known for being very bougie and like upper middle to middle class, and then wealthy. But my area, Old Town, which was where the mall was, basically there's a lot of local small businesses specifically in Old Town, and we watched. I was next to the police talking to them. I was asking them questions, and they're babies here. They're children here. I'm noticing they're very young. They don't seem to have like a super hardcore like grasp on what's going on. I don't know if they were playing dumb, but they did talk to me, give me information. You know, who knows?
You have a certain level of intelligence to play dumb successfully. Most people that you think are playing dumb are just they're just as dumb as
they're just dumb.
Yeah, they're just as dumb as they seem to be. Look at us. Hey, just so we're not experts. We're just talking out of our ass too. You know, I don't do nearly as much research as you've done on this stuff. We just try and overthink it to the point where we understand it a little bit. You know.
You're hypothesizers, which is precisely what I was until I started having more stuff in my own area to cover, to be honest. And I'm still learning stuff, like honestly, like so many things. But the repeat thing I'm noticing in Arizona, it's just different here. And I will tell you, like, I watched crappy beat up cars driving around the day after Scottsdale Mall got looted, but they turned around and left. Like they were, I'm going to say children because Antifa is generally children. But I mean, I was there with one of the guys who was defending some of the businesses, and because he defended the business, or the businesses were defended, multiple people were able to still go out, even though the mall had just been destroyed and all the chat crap was going on. Like people were afraid to go out at that point a little bit. So everybody local and the police were next to each other, literally armed and outside these businesses. And we never had a problem after that.
Yeah, some places are doing it well, and then other places you end up with, you know, Black Lives Matter and jumping our, you know, friend here, apparently. But it's happening on both sides. You have, it depends on what the news is deciding to cover and where they want to stimulate us to vote next time, you know?
That's why I think Arizona's unique, though. It's more the people are kind of the people making a lot more decisions. It seems like in majority than the actual politicians and the police, which is, like I said, I don't think that's definitely not like that in other states. But there's just not the rage here that I've seen in other footage and been around. I just don't see it. It's kind of like they're mad, but they're not violently angry to that extent, if that makes sense.
Yeah, they're thinking about consequences is what I'm hearing. You know, that's just a different. I don't understand how these riots get out of it. These young people that just don't understand that there are going to be consequences for destroying an entire city, or even just a square block, or just a car that the 12 cop cars that got destroyed in Houston or here in Texas at some point. Like, yeah, fuckers, we pay for that with our taxes.
Like literally, that's only hurting literally everybody. That helps absolutely nobody.
We just have to pay for them to get new cop cars next year now. God damn it, you ruined my tax return. Anyway,
well, not to mention the whole Apple store. I know they looted a couple of Apple stores, including mine here. And like, dude, those products are going to be like, well, first of course, they're trackable, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
And then on top of that, their value's going to go down.
Probably. Like what? I'm surprised Apple just doesn't like brick all those phones. Anyway, hey, this has been going on long enough. If we don't force an ending here, we'll just keep going.
We could go forever. Go take a nap. I'm going to do the same thing. Yeah, thank you guys.
Thanks for
later.
recuperating enough to have this long ass conversation with us. I know it's not easy for you sometimes, and I don't make it easy by jumping in all the time. Frank,
No, you're tired today. I like it.
I slowed down enough for you. That's good.
Yeah, we're on the same level of slow today. It worked out.
Right on, man. So, Frank, any last questions you wanted to talk about before we wrap things up?
No, not really.
Didn't expect it.
I was literally gonna say, what did you think? It's okay.
Good. High five.
Yeah.
Good job. High five. Air five. Woo. Anyway, this has been the Completely Inappropriate podcast. I've been Tony along with Mr.
Frank.
You already know where to find us because you're listening to us now. Thank you so much, Vegan Patriot. We look forward to having you on next time. As always, we'll find something else to bitch about with you.
Oh yeah, thanks guys. I love it. Go for it.
Take it
All
easy.
right, bye.
Bye.